Hello and welcome to the training. The title of today's training is How to Get Lasting Relief from Foot Pain, Numbness, Burning, and Cramping Without Drugs or Surgery. Who is this for? This is for neuropathy sufferers who want lasting relief. Whether you've been suffering for years with painful, numb, or cramping feet or legs, or you just recently started experiencing tingling or numbness, either way, this is for you. In the next 35 minutes, I'm going to show you how to get to the root cause of your neuropathy and help your body heal from the inside out without taking more medications, even if you've been suffering for years. This is super important. I'm going to show your body how to heal, guys, without more medications. The last thing we need is more medications that just cover the symptoms. I'm going to show you how to finally get relief from the constant numbness, burning pain, cramping, tingling, the sharp shooting pains, all those different types of sensations that you get in your feet or your legs. And then a lot of these pains, a lot of patients tell us this keeps us from sleeping at night. This makes us tired during the day because we're not sleeping well. I'm going to show you exactly how to sleep great again by not having hot or burning feet at night. You know, some people have to sleep with the covers off of their feet or even with the fan blowing on their feet at night. We're going to show you how to sleep great because your feet aren't going to bother you anymore. And then how to finally get back to the things you love, whether it's traveling, playing with your grandkids, dancing, golfing, or just working in your garden. Once you start feeling better, you're going to get to go back to all those things that you once enjoyed and you truly miss. So my promise to you is I'm going to show you how to get lasting relief from pain, numbness, burning, and cramping without drugs or surgery. Okay, so let's get going. Does this sound like you? Do you have constant numbness and tingling in your feet and toes? Do you feel unsteady on your feet? Have you had any falls? Do you have poor balance? Do you feel like you're less secure walking? Do you constantly feel tired because cramps in your feet, toes, or legs wake you up every night? Do you have trouble wearing certain shoes because they make your feet burn? You know, some patients, they tell me they haven't been able to wear closed-toed shoes for years because their feet are either painful or they get hot and they constantly burn. So they're wearing flip-flops or slippers everywhere they go. Do you secretly feel that if your neuropathy continues to get worse, you will lose your ability to take care of yourself and live on your own? I often talk to patients that they live by themselves right now, and they're worried that if they can't take care of themselves, their children are actually going to put them in assisted living, and they don't want that. They want to stay more independent. They want to be able to get their own groceries. They want to be able to drive their car. Have your feet and health been on a downward spiral and you feel your best active and fun years are behind you? If this is how you feel, guys, I want to show you the solution today that can change your life. And it's by first focusing on the real problem. And the real problem is you haven't made the health shifts. Once you make them, you'll feel your feet again and become steadier on your feet. You'll feel the pain, cramping, and burning start to melt away and start enjoying life again. You'll once again enjoy the things you love, like traveling, gardening, dancing, and playing with your grandchildren. You'll sleep like a baby and wake up with more energy than you've had in years. You'll feel in complete control over your health and be on the path to feeling the best you have in years. Who are we? We are a group of Southern California wellness professionals, including MDs, chiropractors, nurse practitioners, and health coaches. We separate ourselves from standard medical practice by focusing our treatment to address the root causes of neuropathy. Instead of the symptoms, we go for the root cause, and we help the patient heal from the inside out. Instead of masking the pain or just providing temporary relief, our research evidence-based approach harnesses your own body's healing processes to regenerate and repair damaged tissues and cells. We help you heal from the inside out. Together, we have helped more than 5,000 neuropathy patients that previously suffered with foot and leg pain, burning, tingling, numbness, cramping, And these patients were giving no hope from other doctors. In fact, those doctors said there was nothing you can do for it except live with the pain, take medication, or go get a walker or a wheelchair. So let's get started. Discovering the 3 health shifts. There are 3 key shifts you must make to revive your feet with lasting relief and start healing from the inside out. And I'm going to walk you through all 3 in this session. So in this day we live in, despite all the investment in technology and healthcare, we're mostly focused on pharmaceutical drug interventions. And because of that, we're still seeing increases in chronic conditions like diabetes, massive increase in the last 20 to 30 years. And along with that, neuropathy. More and more people are getting neuropathy. The reason why is because we're focused on the symptoms. In our country, in the U.S., modern medicine focuses on treating the symptom instead of getting to the root cause, the root problem. And unless you get to the root, you're just going to be chasing symptoms, giving temporary relief. So the difference is our focus. In the U.S., we spend a tremendous amount on healthcare. When you add it all up, because we're so symptom focused, we're not able to improve people's health. We just actually cover symptoms. So how much do you think we spend on health in the U.S.? Think about it. Give it a guess. $1 billion? $500 billion? Over $3.2 trillion a year on healthcare, and most of that is on pharmaceuticals, on drug intervention, treating symptoms. The U.S. consumes 75% of the medications produced in the world. And that's, think about this, we're only 5% of the world's population, yet we consume 75% of the medications produced in the world. So why is that? Why do we choose to take a pill whenever we have a problem? The average home has 2 washing machines. The ones we wash our clothes in, the ones we wash our brain with, the TV set, guys. We're constantly being advertised to and told if you have a health concern, the answer is asking your doctor for the latest medication. This is called social conditioning. And over time, it just brainwashes us to think that is the only solution to our health problems. Every year, they spend over $4 billion on TV advertising trying to convince you to go to the doctor and ask for the latest drug to help your health problem. And the most common culprits, if you have neuropathy, if you're suffering with numbness and tingling, pain in your feet, the number 1 drug they prescribe is Neurontin. And people think Neurontin helps their neuropathy. And again, it just covers the symptoms. It's actually anti-seizure medication. It slows down your brain in certain areas so you don't feel your feet. You still have the problem in your feet. You still have the nerve damage in your feet, but the medication masks the symptoms. And the problem with it also, hey, no one's going to argue with you for looking for temporary relief. If you're in a lot of pain, temporary relief is okay, but it's not the long-term solution. And with neuropathy, it's a progressive degenerative condition, meaning it gets worse with time. If you're taking medication for it, it's not going to stop the progression. You're still going to have a bigger problem the longer you let it go on. The drug you see mostly advertised on TV right now is Lyrica. Lyrica is another anti-seizure medication. Again, it slows down your brain so you don't feel your feet, and it does not stop it from getting worse. The condition of neuropathy progresses with time. It's going to get worse even though you're not feeling it. One indicator of it progressing a lot of times is over the years or the months, you have to increase the amount of medication you're taking to have the same effect. So what is fundamentally wrong here? Some people say we treat ourselves worse than our car. We take care of our car, we maintain our car, we use preventative maintenance on our car, we change the oil filter, we change the brakes, we change the tires. But with our body, we let things break apart before we address them. How would you like this to be the answer to your car? Instead of fixing the problem, you just put duct tape on it. And what we do to ourselves is a lot like using duct tape. Temporary fix. So if you're driving your car and you saw this light come on, what would you do? You know, it's a check engine light, right? It tells you there's a problem. Well, the last thing you're going to do is you're going to cover it with a piece of tape, right? Or you're not going to cut the wire to that light so you don't see it. It says check engine. So you're going to bring it to a professional and have them figure out what is wrong, what's going wrong, get to the cause of the problem and fix it. It doesn't work that way with neuropathy. So let's pretend your feet, if you're one of the patients that have trouble with painful, hot, burning feet, you show up to the doctor and say, Doc, my feet are burning, they're on fire, I can't wear shoes, I can't sleep under the covers, what can I do? And what does he do? He looks at it like a fire alarm. It's like your fire alarm is going off in your body. Symptoms are the alarm telling you there's something wrong. What the doctor does, instead of looking for the cause of the fire, he cuts the wires to your fire alarm so you don't feel the pain. And how does he do that? By prescribing you the medications like Lyrica, Neurontin, Cymbalta, other narcotics. There's lots of medications they can give you for this. But the true answer, what makes us different, and the reason people get better in our offices, is because we focus on the root of the problem and fix the root. Let's look at a case study. Case study number 1. This is from Betty. I was experiencing numbness, tingling, heaviness, sharp, hot stabbing pain, loss of feeling in my left foot, toes, and the toes of my right foot. Since I started care, I can walk better, I can stand longer, I can feel my feet under the covers, and feel them when they are cold or hot. I feel like the nerves are regenerating because I can feel them being stimulated and rejuvenated. I would highly recommend the treatment. It's obvious to see in this case study, she's not treating the symptoms with the drug where she wouldn't feel anything. She's feeling more sensations because her feet are getting better. She's healing from the inside out. So the second health shift is you need to understand what exactly is neuropathy. With this shift, when you understand, then the solution will make perfect sense to you. So what is neuropathy? Let's talk about it for a little bit. Neuropathy is damage to a peripheral nerves. Peripheral nerves means nerves in your feet, in your legs, possibly even in your hands or your arms. That's when you have nerve damage there. It can even affect and radiate from your back. So if you look at a nerve, a great visualization, an image for you is the common household wire. This picture right here of a wire, you see how it's frayed, the damage in the insulation, and the wire starting to fray. If that's a nerve in your body, well, how do you think that's going to respond? Well, let's think about this a little bit further. In this analogy, if that wire went to your toaster, if that cord powers your toaster and it gets too much current and it potentially will burn the toast. If it's not getting enough current in that wire, your toast might not toast at all, right? So this would be like somebody with numb feet where they're not feeling any sensations. If it's getting too much stimulus, this would be like burning feet, hot feet, painful feet. And it's all coming from the wire that's damaged, the nerve that's damaged. That's where those symptoms are coming from. What causes the nerve to be damaged? Diminished blood flow. If you look at this diagram right here, the yellow represents the nerve. And the nerve is what brings the signal from your feet to your brain. It's the electrical pathway. What keeps a nerve healthy is blood supply, normal blood supply. So if you look at this diagram at the top, it says normal nerve. in that nerve, you'll see these red, these are the microcirculation. This is the capillaries. This is a healthy nerve right here. The blood flow brings oxygen and nutrients to the nerve. That's how a healthy nerve works. When you start to have damaged blood vessels, like you look in the second one, how do you think the blood flow is going to get to that nerve? It's going to be less than optimal, right? And so the nerve starts to be starved from proper amounts of oxygen and nutrients, and it starts to malfunction, and you start having symptoms. And as it degenerates and progresses, you'll see it continue here. And if you can imagine how someone's feeling when they get down here, their symptoms are severe. These are people that have a severe disease, and their symptoms get worse with time. But the problem is the blood flow issue. So there's a lot of conditions that can decrease the blood flow to your feet. The most obvious one is diabetes. The second most obvious one is what's called prediabetes. And you might be pre-diabetic. You're like, I'm not diabetic. Well, most people, a large majority of people at least, are pre-diabetic that are over the age of 50 or 60. It just naturally happens from sustained lifestyle over time, that with the bad diet that most of us have, it's very common in America to be pre-diabetic, and that slowly starts to damage the blood flow. There's a lot of other conditions too, but those are the two main ones. And so with neuropathy, 8% of the population, 24 million people, suffer with it right now. It's growing every year. It can occur at almost any age, but predominantly it's people in their 60s and their 70s. That's who really gets hit by it the hardest. And then, like I said, if you're diabetic, 60% of diabetics will develop neuropathy. So there's 7 common warning signs that you have neuropathy. The number 1 is numbness, where you're losing sensation in your toes or the balls of your feet. Burning pain, cramping in your toes, feet, or calves. The muscles just cramp. A lot of times people complain that cramping happens at night. They can get cramping, or they'll describe it as like a restless leg thing when the legs, you just can't keep them still. Sharp electrical pains, prickling, tingling, and then those nerves control the feedback from your feet and your joints and your ankles and your knees to your brain. When you start getting neuropathy, that's when the balance problems start to happen, because your brain doesn't know where your feet are. So let's take a moment to look at the science of neuropathy. These diagrams right here, these are pictures of different types of nerves. You have different types of nerves in your feet, in your body, and your joints. The nerves on the left right here, these are large fiber nerves. And their number 1 job is to tell your brain where your feet are. So they're in your ankle, they're in your toes, they're in all your joints down in the lower extremities. And for you to walk properly, have good balance, your brain has to know where your feet are without looking, and that's what these nerves do. They give a constant input back to your brain. What's interesting with this type of nerve, if it's damaged, you're not going to have pain from this nerve. You're going to have this poor balance, you're going to feel less steady on your feet, and eventually you're going to start to have falls. 1 out of 3 adults over the age of 65 fall each year. 20 to 30% suffer moderate to severe injuries. 10% of these falls are fatal, where they don't recover. So as you, I'm sure, know, having good balance, feeling steady on your feet is very important as we age. It's the leading cause of injury and death over the age of 65. Now, if you look at the nerves on the right, these are small fiber nerves. These are the nerves that tell you if your feet hurt or if you feel fine. Those are your sensory nerves. So if you're walking barefoot right now, let's imagine this. You're walking barefoot, and there's thumbtacks on the floor, and you step on those thumbtacks. If those nerves are working correctly, you're going to step on there, and you're going to jump away feeling the pain. If you have neuropathy in your feet and it's damaged these sensory nerves, chances are you're not going to feel a thing, and those tacks are going to go into your feet and you're not going to know they're there. We had a patient come in our office a few years back, a construction worker. He took his boot off and he had no idea. His feet were numb. He had a 1/2 inch nail in his foot and he had no idea it was there. What do you think would happen if you had something stuck in your foot, a piece of glass, a tack, or even a nail in this case, if you didn't get that taken care of? What's it going to lead to? I'm sure you're all thinking about it. It's going to lead to an infection, which can result in amputation. And that's why every year in the United States, we have over 86,000 amputations from neuropathy in the feet. That's what happens when those nerves start to die. Maybe don't realize how it starts to affect them. Besides walking, is driving a car, feeling the gas pedal and the brake. This picture right here was at a restaurant that we were at. It's actually a Mimi's Cafe, and the driver drove into the window because when she went to park, she thought she was putting her foot on the brake, but she was actually putting it on the gas. Nobody was hurt, thankfully. But this is how you lose your driver's license, when you cannot feel the brake or the gas. One patient told me once that the way they know of which foot their pedal's on by the rev of the engine. So it's not safe. It's not safe. Even if you don't have pain, even if you just have numbness, you can lose your ability to live independently and drive if you can't feel the gas pedals anymore. We had a patient that just purchased a full-size diesel pusher RV the previous year, and they confessed to me that they have not driven it because at that time the neuropathy started getting so bad he did not feel safe because he couldn't feel the pedals. So it can really shut down all the fun and enjoyment, as well as not just your independence. So this chart right here shows you all the organs on the left, and the yellow are the nerves that control those organs. So not only when you have neuropathy will it affect your feet, but over time it will start affecting organs. And what we find most affected in seniors is bladder function, the nerve that controls your bladder and tells you if it's full or if it needs to empty. If it starts having neuropathy, you can have trouble with incontinence and even with sexual function. So the devastating effects of neuropathy aren't just limited to your feet and legs, but can affect virtually every organ of your body. Let's look at case study number 2. James, before he started care, I had the inability to move, walk fluently. I fell down quite a bit. Everything I got here, speaking of the treatment, is what I was looking for to get, because my doctor could only give me medications. He had no idea I could get this service. Since then, I've been able to walk smoothly. I felt like there is nothing more anyone could do since I came here. I'm walking. They went way and above. This is from James. So what are your choices? If you have neuropathy, what are your choices right now? Number one, you can do nothing. That's a choice, right? Continue to ignore it. The problem with doing nothing, neuropathy is progressive. It's either going to slowly sneak up on you or it rapidly is going to progress, but doing nothing, you're going to have a bigger problem down the road. Number two, you can go to a primary care doctor. You probably already have gone, right? You've asked them, what can I do with this? They go, well, you have neuropathy based on your symptoms. And they'll tell you there's nothing you can do for it except take medication, or they can refer you out to a neurologist. The typical neurologist will order more nerve testing and prescribe more medications, the same medications that your primary recommended, which are the medications that just treat the symptoms. The Lyrica, the Neurontin, the gabapentin, and maybe they'll throw in Cymbalta, an antidepressant, but just more medications. And that's why everybody's been told this. I'm sure you've been told it too. Nothing can be done. You have to learn to live with it. And not just live with it now, but understand it's going to get worse in the future. This is what the standard of care is, guys. This is what happens when all you can offer is getting to just treat the symptoms. The next and final shift is teaching you how to heal from the inside out. Before we do that, you need to look at some of the consequences of just living with it. So people face amputation, wheelchairs, walkers. Again, not a situation any of us want to have in our future. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Who's responsible for that quote? That is Albert Einstein. That's the definition of insanity. You got to look at a different approach. Healing from the inside out. Masking symptoms won't get you anywhere in the long run, but you got to learn how to help your body to heal. So here's the good news. In this final shift, the National Institute of Health says peripheral nerves have the ability to regenerate as long as the underlying nerve cell has not been killed. Basically means you get this before it's too late. There's a certain point where there's too much nerve damage. Your body cannot heal. It cannot heal itself. We cannot help you. You have to get it before that point. But as most people that we see have not gone that far yet, and so they're able to help their bodies regenerate. So it all comes back to this, the diminished blood flow that we talked about previously. We need to get that blood flow like this normal nerve up here again. So if you're down here, there's still blood flow trickling in, but it's not much. If you're here, this is someone that's too far gone. But we want to do everything to increase the blood flow to get your nerves functioning normally again. So there's 3 steps for lasting relief. 3 steps to get the blood flow, 3 steps to get your nerves firing and functioning like they used to. Number 1, rejuvenate by increasing blood flow. Number 2, stimulate and activate the nerves. And number 3, empower by decreasing inflammation in your body, helping the process, helping your body to heal. So number 1, how do we increase blood flow? We use a treatment called LED light therapy. This treatment was developed by NASA, and they were doing research to basically a couple things. They want to speed up cell regeneration. They knew when an astronaut is in zero gravity, if they have an injury, if they cut their hand, there's delayed wound healing. And in that environment in space, with delayed wound healing, the biggest fear is infection. So they were looking at ways to help speed up the healing for astronauts. And secondly, what they're looking to do is how to grow plants in space without sunlight. And so the LED light therapy, they realized different wavelengths of light help speed up cellular regeneration. And through that, one of the key things as far as neuropathy goes, it showed an increase in blood flow, and it promoted new blood vessels to grow, and overall, obviously, decreasing healing time. But when you have neuropathy, do you think it would be a good thing to increase the blood flow, not just temporarily, but to promote new blood vessels to grow around the nerve? Absolutely, right? And so that's what this technology does. It uses wavelengths of light, specific wavelengths that promote increased blood flow, a fancy term called angiogenesis, which means promotion of new blood vessels to grow. Super critical when it comes to neuropathy. The second way we do is we use a therapy. This is actually from Switzerland. It's called pulse wave therapy. It uses acoustical sound waves to stimulate the nerves, to regenerate the nerves, to revitalize the nerves, and to increase blood flow too. It actually helps that area regenerate by stimulating with acoustic sound waves. This treatment's being used on a lot of different parts of the body, but what we found is with neuropathy, if we combine that with light therapy, we get some very dramatic results for most patients. And so a lot of this technology, it's interesting, again, we focus so much in the US on the latest drug advancements. Most of the research dollars go into drugs because that's where the money's at. In Europe, they have more of an open mind to use other modalities. So you see a lot of research in light therapies, pulse wave therapies, these other modalities that help the body to heal. What we find is alone these treatments can be effective, but together they have a synergistic effect that exponentially increases the benefit and the outcome for the patient. So 2 critical therapies. Third is we find when we put patients on an anti-inflammation eating plan, when we eliminate or at least greatly reduce the types of foods that create inflammation, the body heals that much faster and that much more complete. So we recommend and show our patients how to eliminate grains and sugars in their diet. So sugars, it's easy to identify sugars, but grains are things that are, processed grains, pastas, breads, that type of thing. These all cause inflammation in your body. So we want to eliminate those, and we want to decrease, get down to as few processed foods as possible. So if you think about a grocery store, the aisles you want to avoid are the ones in the middle for the most part. It's the ones on the end, the fresh foods, the produce, the lean meats. That's where you want to shop. And one of the other areas that causes a lot of inflammation is processed fats, trans fats. A lot of these engineered industrial fats that we use to cook with, you have to eliminate that. There's healthy fats to use instead of that. But if you eliminate those fats, you're going to have healthier cells because the fats are part of the membrane of the cell, and it's critical when you're helping the nerves, trying to help the nerves to heal. So those 3 things together, the light therapy, the pulse wave therapy, the anti-inflammatory diet, these are the keys to helping your body heal from the inside out. And depending on the patient, there's a few supplements, nutritional supplements, to prescribe along with that accelerates the results as well. So a lot of people ask, why doesn't my doctor know about this? It's a great question. Why doesn't your primary care, why doesn't your medical doctor know about these alternatives? Well, you got to think about it. Their training in medical schools primarily on an intervention with pharmaceutical therapies, drugs. That's where all of their money is put in their training, is what drugs to use for what condition. And most of these conditions are symptom related, so they're treating symptoms all the time. They're helping you reduce the symptoms, but they're not getting to the root cause. The modalities we use, like I said, they came from most of the research is in Europe, where they're more open-minded to doing things besides pharmaceuticals. But as far as your doctor goes, when he tells you there's nothing you can do for it, in his universe, it's a true statement. He knows there's nothing that's going to help you except mask the symptoms with medications. But if you look at what else is out there, like we've done, and put these different modalities together, and helps the patient heal from the inside out, there's much, much more you can do for a patient than tell them there's nothing you can do for it. Okay, let's look at case study number 3. Before coming in for treatment, Angela said, I was experiencing numbness, tingling, stabbing pain, discomfort. I was unable to feel cold on my feet. Since starting care, I have noticed that I can feel more things now. I have less discomfort, pain, tingling, and numbness. I had an increase in sensation. My quality of life has improved. I have my balance. I'm able to walk. To someone considering neuropathy treatment, I would recommend it and say that it's worth it. That's from Angela. So this is what you need to revitalize your feet and health. Number 1, guys, don't just treat the symptoms. You need to get to the root cause. And this is what we focus on here. We focus on reversing the root cause. And we do this by increasing the circulation in your feet and your legs. And that's the microcirculation around those nerves. We increase that so those nerves can heal and be healthy again. And then we stimulate these damaged nerves. We help them revitalize and start working like they used to. And then you need to follow this with an anti-inflammation diet. Decrease the inflammation. Give your body what it needs to heal. And we find the best way to affect inflammation is globally by your diet. Okay, what's the next step? Imagine for a moment sleeping through the night peacefully. Guys, not waking up at night with burning hot feet. Having confidence on your feet, feeling sturdy on your feet so you can walk and not worry about falling. Well, you know what that equals to is taking trips, enjoying your family again, playing with your grandkids, traveling. You know, most people that feel this rejuvenation and go through this, they always say they feel like they're 10 years younger. So now you have a choice. With this information, you can go on about your life and just put it to the side and just keep doing what you're doing and just wait for neuropathy to get worse. Or you can take massive action right now and take charge of your health, commit to yourself, and get the treatment that you need to get. My team has set aside some appointment times in the next 3 days for you to receive a free nerve pain consultation and nerve damage screening. We will determine if your condition is at a point where we can still help you. If we are able to accept you as a patient, we will give you a step-by-step game plan to help you meet your health goals. The appointment is free. It's a value of $249, but because you're going to schedule in the next 3 days, we have those slots reserved for patients like you that we can do it for free, but it has to be within that 3-day time slot. This visit, again, includes a nerve pain consultation and a nerve damage screening. So who's this for? This is for you if you suffer with neuropathy. Don't make this appointment if it's for a relative or somebody else. It needs to be for you. You have to be the one that has the problem. And it's for a person who is willing to commit to their health and make it their top priority. There's going to be things that you have to do yourself to get yourself better. So you have to have the mindset that you're willing to commit to getting your health back. It has to be your number one priority. So why are we doing this? We do this because we love giving back and helping patients that feel like they've lost hope. These are patients, guys, that their doctors told them there's nothing they can do. The patients had, previous to hearing this, they had the mindset that their condition was going to get worse and they were hopeless. There was nothing to do for it. Those are the people we love to help. We also know that a large number of you that come in that have a condition that we can help, you're going to ask us to help you. So if you want our help to transform your health and your life, we'll give you a written recommended treatment plan, and you can go from there. Decide what you want to do. Click the link below to schedule your free nerve damage screening and consultation. So just click the link below this video, make the appointment, make the commitment to yourself, and come in and see where your damage is at. See if you're in a place where we can help you and see what that looks like. You deserve it. It's just a matter of making a commitment to yourself to come in for a nerve damage evaluation. We look forward to meeting you. I wish you the best, and click the link below, please. Get scheduled right now. Thank you.